Hello. I will just wait a couple minutes for people to hop on. I know that most people are, it's kind of dark here. Most people are kind of settling down and things like that, so I'm just gonna wait a few minutes. Hey everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hey Drew, hey Brianna. I gotta text you, Brianna. I'm not gonna waste too much time waiting. I have learned that most people watch my videos after the fact. Or there's also a little thing where people are still watching, but you don't know that they're watching. So hello to Instagram and hello to Facebook. Today I'm going to be talking about current business owners and kind of give some tips to people who are already in business, maybe are successfully in business, or maybe somebody who is, generating revenue and things like that. Maybe have some employees. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of my background. It's a little bit confusing for some because I'm just starting my own business, but I'll give a little information on my background and some of the things that we went through when we were starting from scratch at my previous job. So I'm just gonna get started because I don't want to waste any more time. So a little bit about my background. I have worked in the legal field for 10 years. I worked at a firm for about 7 years and then started a firm pretty much from scratch about 3 years ago. And it's a very successful law firm now. I do not currently work there, but it was a great place to work. I learned a lot of the things that I'm doing now from both jobs. And so I have noticed lately in just, continuing my education and getting online and trying to find resources so that I'm giving out, the right information or comparing ideas or learning things on my own. There are people that are giving advice that is, if you're getting, let me just say this, if you're getting information from online about businesses or about starting your business, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an expert. I was supervised by attorneys my entire legal career, and the knowledge that increased in my mind was based on an actual relationship with an attorney. So if you're getting information on the internet from other people, I would just advise that you always take a second look or get a second opinion from an actual attorney, even if it's coming from me. Because what works for someone's business may not work for others, and the worry for me is that there's a lot of differences between LLCs and corporations, and this is more related to a lot of that is structured upon what type of things you say when you apply for your EIN. You can have an LLC that's an S corp. But that's a form that you have to file with the IRS. It's just make sure if you are getting information from the internet. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I just messed up my live. If you're getting information from the internet, sorry Facebook, hey Latoya, just contact an attorney. If you're starting a business and you feel like you need help or have questions, do not use people on the internet who are, including me. If you don't think that I know, please always get a second opinion. That is just all I have to say. So a little bit of my background is I have been working in the legal field for the last 10 years, managed a firm for 3. And in the process of that, we started from scratch and we had to kind of develop an entire model and a plan based on somebody who had been in the industry for 14 plus years and starting over in 2017. So I'm just going to discuss some of the things that I feel were most important when we were scaling our business, when we were starting it out, when we were hiring employees, and when we were trying to get people to contact us in an area of law that is very specific, but also, a lot of other attorneys were doing it. So that's a little bit about my background, and the story in short form is that we had to start a firm from scratch, and in doing that, I was able to be kind of in an administrative role, and the attorney obviously has the idea, he's got the license, he's the brains behind being an attorney and the business model, but on the other hand, the administrative work is always something extra. So I filed all the entity documents, made sure we had the right tax things going on, got an accountant, all of that. So that's a little bit about my background. And so the first thing that we felt was super important was to have a team. And a lot of people who are starting their business, maybe you're by yourself, maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have a partner, whatever the case may be, you have to put in your mind that you're going to have a team, or if you already have a team, what you should be doing skill set wise. So what I find is when you're on your own, you're doing all parts of it. And if you are good at, okay, let's just say the relationship between a doctor and a nurse. If you have a doctor who's got the degree and got the information and got, the credentials, and he's able to prescribe and this and that, but the nurse kind of picks up all of the other stuff and handles, a lot of the nitty gritty, as opposed to the doctor coming in and taking your vitals and things like that. So the reason why it's set up that way is because they are using each person's best skills at the right place and the right time. So even though the doctor probably can do all of those things, if it makes more sense for the doctor to just use their knowledge of pediatrics or gynecology or whatever they went to school for, it's what makes more sense. So that's kind of the relationship that myself and the attorney had was, he was able to bring in the business. He had ideas. He went to, to get more knowledge about how to market and things like that. And we hired people to help us with our marketing. And I, on the back end, was, making sure the bills were paid, making sure we had everything that we needed for the office, making sure that all of our business funds were going out because we were open in different states. So if he would have been doing that on his own, there probably would have been much more of a cost. He probably would have had to hire like a business person to do all the business documents and tax people and things like that. So him and I were able to find a good balance of me handling the firm while he kind of made sure we were getting money. And so as time went on, that kind of grew, and in the mix of that, we had to hire new people, we started getting more clients, and like I said, this may not work for everybody, but the process and the type of thinking that it takes to grow your business, if you're at a certain point, this is just good information. So the first thing that I have is having a team. If you are able to have a team, if you have a partner, if you have a spouse, if you have somebody that's able to help you, make sure you sit down on a regular basis and talk about strengths and weaknesses and how you guys can help each other. Because that's kind of, I didn't know him very well. I had been working with him. I started working there in April, and things kind of changed after maybe 3 months. And so we really had to develop a friendship and a business relationship so that we could make sure we're making money and the firm is still going and things like that. So if you have a team, make sure that you're using your strengths instead of just, doing all of the work. I know that a lot of people have a hard time letting go if they don't trust a person or if they don't feel like they have the knowledge. There's always resources for that. If you feel like somebody can't run payroll, contact the payroll provider and get them training. So all of these things to keep your business running smoothly, having a team and somebody who is able to really administer the business if you're the brains, or somebody who's the brains if you're only good at the administration, is probably going to be your best bet. So that's the first thing, is having a team. If you're your own team, I'm my own team right now, and but I just make sure that I'm not burning myself out and I'm doing the things that I know that I'm best at. And if there's something that I'm not good at, I'm finding some sort of resource. I have seminars that are scheduled. I'm learning way more about marketing. I'm reading ebooks. So if you're on that path where you're just starting out, do not think that you know everything. If you have a mindset that you can take care of it all, then you're gonna probably stay in the same place. I don't think there's any business that's successful right now that is just a one-man show. If there is, let me know, because I would like to help them. But I just don't think any huge company, McDonald's doesn't have one person working there. Nike doesn't. I don't think you can think of any company that felt like that the CEO felt like I can do this all on my own. He didn't, or she didn't. So having a team is super important. That is like number one. Having some sort of help, or if you're on your own, make sure you're using resources that you can afford to help yourself. So that goes into my next thing is you have to you have to spend money to make money. So whether that's on supplies, whether that's on hi Peggy, hi Nicole, Jackie, Joseph, Mom, hey everybody. So I'm seeing things online saying that you can, this is free and this is free and you can do this for free and you can start a business without this and this and that. Well, you're either giving up time or you're giving up money. So I believe, and what we had to do was we had to spend money to make money. And the nice part about the situation that I was in was I was able to develop websites, which is a weird thing for some random administrative staff to do. So I developed, our websites, and then he would tweak them because he had all of the marketing knowledge, and he would update them and tell a story and make it so that it was, pertinent to what we were doing at our firm. But so we were able to develop our own websites, but that's a cost. We had to have office supplies, and then we had to start hiring people. And so when we first started, we had like 3 clients, and we were kind of like, oh my gosh, this is getting crazy. So then we hired another attorney. And when I didn't have the vision that the owner had, because I was just coming from like a regular small firm that kind of had a lot of turnaround, things like that. So when he wanted to hire another attorney, he had a vision of, if the things that we're doing work, then we're going to need help. And that is, and that's spending money. So if you have money to spend to make sure your business is kept running properly, then that's how you're going to make money. Because if you have a mindset of, okay, if I hire somebody, so say you have $50,000 that is just sitting there that everything's covered. If you can pay somebody $30,000 a year to answer phone calls, and you don't have to answer phone calls, and you can be doing the service that you provide, that's more money, because that's bringing more customers in. So then you have to think, okay, if I can pay this person to be my receptionist, then I don't have to answer the calls and then miss calls and then miss emails, and somebody's handling all of that for me. I'm making more money, because then there's 2 people doing it, and that person's just chilling on the phone. Like, hey, I'm going to take all of these calls for 8 hours and make my paycheck while my boss, he or she, is out there getting the work done. So having the mindset of spending money has to be part of the process. Like, okay, if I have this money or if I need this person, then you have to be like, maybe I need to start asking for money. Maybe I need to do crowdfunding. Maybe I need to ask the bank for a loan. And so these are all things that you need to get in your mind when you're in that space where it's like, okay, I want to grow. I'm kind of at a standstill, but you get in that other space where you're like, I want to hold on to this money. I'm going to need it for a rainy day or whatever the case may be. No, you got to spend that money so that you could bring more people in. So that mindset of keeping money and saving money is good. That's more about budgeting, making sure you have the right budget. But when you get to a point where you're kind of at a standstill and you're by yourself, or you're answering the phone calls and then you're messing up on what you're doing and you're getting back to people late and your customer service is falling off, then you have to be like, okay, let's sit down and think, even if it's just with yourself. Let's sit down and think about what I can do to maximize my ability in, being a landscaper or sending people out on projects or, whatever the case may be. Let me utilize my mind to see who can help me with that. So you got to spend money in order to make money, and you have to be able to ask for that money if you don't have it. Get loans, credit cards, borrow from friends, whatever the case may be, but you cannot be shy in asking for money if you don't have it. And if you don't have if you do have the money, then you need to invest in another person or another resource or an answering service or whatever you would need to make your job easier, because that is part of having a team. Because if like I said, if you think of any company in the United States that is a one-man show that's successfully producing whatever the case. Amazon is not a one-man show. Jeff Bezos, if he was delivering the Amazon products to us, do you think that Jeff Bezos would be in that position? Is Jeff Bezos? Yeah, it's Jeff. He would not be able to function. So you have to get into your mind and start. I'm figuring it out now. The thing that I'm going to want as soon as I have enough income or I get a loan for my business or a credit card, whatever it is, I'm hiring someone. I'm going to hire someone to schedule my appointments, go through my emails, and schedule me to handle the business. And so that's already in my mind. So I'm already thinking I need more money. Like, I need to have more money coming in because I want somebody else to answer my phone calls. And I want somebody else to schedule these lives and set them up and things like that. Because what I'm good at, I don't have to answer the phones if I'm good at producing these lives or if I'm good at getting 5 websites done and 2 businesses done and a trademark done. So, and then I can train this person to start doing that. And that's how you build your business. So having a team is the first thing. For the new people, I'm Chevis, talking to current business owners about how my company was able to kind of flourish and grow starting from scratch after being kind of really successful for about 14 years. So having a team and spending money to make money. Let me just make sure. Oh, and the other thing with the money factor is make sure that you are budgeting your money, and make sure that if you're not keen on the way to properly budget, or if you're not accounting, if you're old school and you're still writing in books and things like that, get some new software or hire an accountant or do whatever you need to do to make sure your finances are right. Because a lot of the reason why people create those type of jobs is because I know that people look at the tax system as like a scary monster, but if you're contributing to a business and providing jobs and providing growth to the economy, you're going to get write-offs for that stuff. So if you're not accounting for it, it's a wash. If you're setting up a business and you don't have an entity set up and you don't have your accounting for all of the things, I've spent so much money just on certification, software, GoDaddy, all of that stuff. If I had done that and didn't have like an entity set up, it's basically like I get nothing back from that. So, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I'm sorry. So make sure my other Dallas's phone keeps falling. So make sure I'm gonna have to delete that one. So make sure that you are using the proper software, making sure you're seeking some type of wise counsel for the things that you're doing so that you can receive some sort of benefit of contributing to the society by starting a business or being in business. So then the next thing that was super, super important was marketing. And the nice thing about the business being already kind of established was that we did have word of mouth, and people were, being in business for that long, you obviously get people who are going to be, hi Katie, people are going to be coming back. It was cars, so it was something that you could come back for, but you can only get certain services one time, or if you only get it one time, maybe it's only going to be for like a couple of years and then they come back. So you have to make it a memorable experience. If you don't have a team, they might not want to come back because the customer service wasn't right. So word of mouth is great, but you have to deliver the package to them like never before, because if you don't get them on that try, there's always somebody else that's doing it. So word of mouth is a great way to ensure that you have some stability, but in order to scale, you have to be able to bring more than just the word of mouth people in. So marketing was super important, and having a website for us was super important because everything is digital now. We didn't even meet with clients. I meet with clients here and there, but everything that we did was digital. And so that's a type of service, but I know that some of you who are in business have hands-on tattoos, crafts, plants, vending machines, photography. So a lot of you are meeting with the people and it's hands-on. And so if they have a great experience, then of course, but you got to figure out like, okay, how do I get 5 more of these without having to depend on their experience? Even though it should always be a good experience for them, you have to figure out another way, and that's through marketing. And I'm, aside from what I know, which I'm going to talk about here shortly, I am still learning about marketing. There's SEO, there's lead generation, and there's the social media that I've been looking at. And all of this to me is very particular with having a website and having some sort of online presence that people trust. So with my business, the previous business that I'm kind of getting the information from, we were lead generation, and Google Ads was really a huge component for us. So the Google Ads, you put in specific keywords, and I'm paraphrasing, so please go see a Google expert. We use Net Solutions, but if you do that, let me know, because I'm interested always. But so we would use certain phrases or words that would lead to, they track you, and it would lead people to our website. So then if our website looked nice, then you kind of want to contact us. So that really drove people to our website. We didn't get a ton of people that were just randomly scrolling on Facebook. We didn't even use Facebook ads for the first couple of years a ton, because the Google ads led people to our website, and then people really loved what they saw on our website. It was very clean. It was very gave a lot of information. We weren't trying to really hide any information from anybody. We were giving out all the tea, and so people felt comfortable contacting us, and then the customer service was on point. And so once you're able to get people to your website, whether that's through Instagram, whether that's through Facebook, whether that's through Google Ads or SEO, we did SEO for about 6 months in another state, because we already kind of had like a presence in Arizona with another thing that we were able to transfer over. So SEO, so if you go to Google right now and you look at just Google We Handle Your Business, and if you look up, or whatever you want to Google, if you look at the top, I'm not going to be at the top because I don't have ads yet. There's like usually 3 at the top that say ad. So those are the people who are paying to be at the top, so you click it. So that could be anybody. And for example, so there's this place called ticketsales.com. And I was buying tickets for my mom for Wild 'N Out before the world went crazy and the pandemic happened. So we had bought tickets for Wild 'N Out, and I clicked this ticket sales thing because it was an ad at the top, and I'm just like thinking it's Ticketmaster. I don't know why. But they were, I actually want to say this on my live. They were the worst company I think that I reported them to the Federal Trade Commission, because even though it was my mistake, it's very misleading, because you would think, that Ticketmaster would honor, if there's a pandemic, like Wild 'N Out's not happening. So you pay extra, it's somebody else who's already bought the tickets, and then they sell them to you for buku more. And then, so that was frustrating. They wouldn't give me a refund. I was like, okay. So then when the pandemic happened again, I was like, okay, hopefully I'm going to be able to get a refund. That was a nightmare. So those ads at the top, really pay attention, because you're either going to get an awesome service because it's somebody that has the money and they're doing well, and they can provide, pretty good services, because if they have money to pay for those ads, that's a pretty good thing. But the SEO, the search engine optimization, it is the natural searches that people have at that bottom half, and you have to kind of make your way to the top, so that, because if you're on like the 5th page, most people aren't like, I mean, I do, but most people aren't like clicking on like, oh, which one of these people are gonna handle my business the best? Like, you're gonna go to that first page that you Google and click the first one. So that's the search engine optimization. And we used somebody named Bradley Barks. Hold on, yes, Katie, yeah, that happened to me too. They're very sketchy, and but if you don't know, that they're using ads at the top, you're assuming it's Ticketmaster, because Ticketmaster is like the best. But this ticketsales.com is terrible. Don't ever use them. It's just people. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be doing this, but that's basically what they do with the ads. So marketing is super important. We used SEO in another state, and it kind of got us to a point where people were really looking at us in a different state. And then we also had, Katie agrees, and we also had the Google ads. So getting people to your website is super important. And I've seen a lot of people who don't have websites, and I'm not going to go to many companies that don't have a website. And this isn't even a plug for me to do your website, because if you want a crazy intense website, you should go to like super duper web developer. But the basic websites that I do is enough for somebody to have something look nice, and people go to it and be like, okay, they look legitimate. And then on top of that, so this is kind of what I wanted to talk about with my Facebook and my Instagram. So if you're researching how to get followers and how to target audiences on Facebook and Instagram, you basically get a lot of people right now they purchase the followers. And that's kind of why I posted the 100 follower mark. And I appreciate you guys. I'm not going to cry this time. I appreciate you guys, because you really have to be, the Instagram and Facebook and social media algorithms and analytics are so difficult to tap into. People just kind of take the bait and purchase followers, because just because it's social media and that's the way of the world right now, people want to see that you have millions of followers and you're not following a lot of people. So even on my Instagram, and I'm apologizing to you guys now, I have to reach an audience that's targeted, because if people aren't engaging with my post, then you're basically like a worthless person to follow, according to Instagram. So if you don't engage, which it shouldn't be up to your family and your friends. Obviously, you want them to share and you want them to, be communicative with you on your social media, but you really should be. There's nobody that I know right now that needs anything that I'm giving them, except for the people that reach out to me. Hey Channing, I do my brother's social media every day, and we're figuring out when to post and what to post and who to reach and who to target and things like that. And he's actually in just a couple of weeks gotten people to sign up because he has a huge online presence. And Channing, what a dudo. And Channing, he's on Insta, and Channing already kind of had a following. And the nice thing about Channing is he's been in that type of area for a long time. So his is happening very naturally. But for me, I obviously the people that reach out to me and business owners and people who want to start their business, that's not if it's my family and friends, they're just contacting me directly. And if it's just like my homies, obviously I'll follow you back, but if you're not engaging, I need to reach other people. So I would, you'll get removed from the list because I need people that are constantly contacting me because of the algorithms of social media want people to be going to your website. So these are just a few of the things that we did, and this is what I feel like current business owners that are kind of, already operating and, able to kind of like fund some things and know how to get business loans, and maybe just are missing one of the pieces and aren't growing, or if you are growing and this is just new information for you, so be it. But that's just a few of the tips that I have for current business owners, and I'll go over them again. Having a team, making sure that you're not getting the burnt out by handling everything yourself. Jeff Bezos does not deliver Amazon packages. That's going to be my new little quote. You can't deliver the Amazon packages if you're Jeff Bezos. So, right, yes. And so, hi Julie. I called you, but I don't know if I have the right number. But anyway, so the first thing that I was talking about was having a team, making sure that you are using your strengths to grow your business and not, being scarcity minded and keeping all the money to yourself, and because really it's burning you out. And if you can give somebody a job, or if you can have another resource and able to help other people with your service, I'm gonna text you after, or maybe Snap, I don't know, but I'll get in contact with you because you have your business that we need to do. So if you are if you have a team, and if you have the resources to have a team, like I said, I am absolute. When I get enough cash flow coming in and regular business, I'm hiring a receptionist. I'm going to hire a receptionist that can take some phone calls, because I know that will help me be able to produce more, because I'm not spending that time on the phone. So having a team, making sure that you're using your strengths. A receptionist's strengths isn't the same as my strengths. And then if you hire somebody, I'm going to train the receptionist to do everything I do, because I want this young person or old person, I don't know what it's going to be. It can't be ageist. But I'm going to want this person to be able to have a career in my field if that's what they're interested in. And that is how a business grows. That's how you move people up. You don't just keep them where they're at unless they want to be a receptionist forever. We definitely made sure that we had employees that we wanted to move to the next level. We didn't keep people where they were at. We didn't expect people to not get raises. We wanted people to grow, and so I would hire somebody. That's what I'm going to do as soon as I'm bowling. So the first thing is team. The next thing is you have to spend money to make money. Definitely feel like it is super important to make sure that you are budgeting, have an accountant. If you need money, you need to get loans so that you can build your business credit and get more money, because you're always, even if it's just for your working capital and to pay bills and things like that. And a lot of things are different right now during COVID, because a lot of people aren't having to have the brick and mortar payments of things. So if you're able to kind of set some different money aside so that you can invest in yourself, getting marketing classes, going to human resource classes so you can learn how to work with other human beings, and not be firing people or treating people weird, because for some reason there's this culture in the workplaces, or lack of culture, where the boss is just like an absolute psycho and they treat everybody bad, and then people just say because they're desperate for money. You can have a business where you treat people nice and they respect you and they want to work for you, and you pay them good and you move them up and things like that. That's the type of environment where people stay, and you don't have a ton of turnover, and you're not like begging people to work for you. So spending money to make money, having a team, and then marketing. So all of these things, if you need any assistance with, if you have questions about it, if you want to just sit down and go over, I can help you with your business plan. Just don't be, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, what does she know? Or maybe they think that I do know, but they're just embarrassed to come and chat with me about it. I definitely have the credentials. I've been in it. I've been at that bottom area where we didn't know if we were going to make any money, paying me out of his pocket. He was a great person, great boss, like nothing bad to say about that situation at all. It was just time for me to move on to green, we handle your business pastures. So that's it. But we had a really great relationship. We really built a successful law firm from scratch, randomly in the middle of 2017. So I definitely will give myself a pat on the back because I helped quite a bit. So if you have any questions, if you want to just have a quick consult, if you need some documents filed, if you want to get a website popping, just hit me up. I do offer like payment solutions. I barter. If it's something that I'm like interested in, even if you just want to pay me later, that's fine too. So I appreciate you all for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for who's going to tune in later. And that is all I have. It's good to see you guys. Hope you had a good week. And I will see you guys next week.